Apologies. Apologies.
Yeah, apologies, because guess what? The leaf blower, he's here. You're here. We're all here. If you listen hard enough, you can hear the leaf blower. All right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the finale of Boba Fett. It's the finale. And, all right, so listen, if you're brand new to this channel, show a little bit of class. Will you subscribe, hit the notification button, do all of it. It's the last one for now until we get to Obi-Wan, which looks like it's coming to May. That's the reports. So if you are watching this and you're searching for the finale reviews and you're just wondering, just hit subscribe. We do a lot of things over here. We just had Dominic Monaghan on the show. We had Booker T on the show. If you're a Peacemaker fan, I'll just say it right now. It's scheduled for today, and anything can happen, but I got Freddie Stroma, the vigilante himself, coming on with a Peacemaker review. So you don't want to miss any of this stuff that I got going on. So subscribe and hit the notification button. But the reason why you are here is to talk about Boba Fett. It is the finale of the 7-part series. All right. So the first thing I will say is that I liked the episode. I liked it. There's a lot of incredible, easily Robert Rodriguez's best of the 3 that he did this season. I still think that his Mandalorian episode last season is his best Star Wars overall, but there's a lot of good Star Wars imagery in this, and I screenshot a lot of them. I think that the major, as I said beforehand, I'm enjoying watching Star Wars television. There were less Robert Rodriguez-y things in this. Yeah, it's the finale. The leaf blower has to come in. He's got to come in. And just, yeah, sit on. Come on. What did you think? Did you like the Rancor? You did. Yeah, absolutely. So what else? Anything else new? No. You had a bagel this morning? Okay, good. All right, yeah, I'm going to talk about the show. You do me a favor. Drop in from beneath the house, stick it through the light socket, and just blow the back of my ears off with the leaf blower. Cool. All right. So there were less Robert Rodriguez-y things in this one. They were certainly there, for sure. There were certain things that happened inside of the story that I didn't like, but I don't necessarily know if I didn't like them because of the choice or because I was attached to certain things, and we'll get into it. But overall, the big Star Wars battle, and I was entertained from start to finish. I think that the problem, I saw someone say, like, underwhelming. I get it. Where I think that there were just certain things that happened throughout the duration of the series that by the time you get here, you're like, okay, fun battle overall. I stand by with what I say. This could be, I don't need another Boba Fett season. I don't, they announced like Andor season 2. That means there's a lot of story to tell. Do we need any more Boba Fett? I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the episode. You want to talk about the episode too? Okay. Loved this shot, by the way, the opening of and seeing how big the city really is and everything that's about to go down. I thought I loved the opening, and I thought, okay, great. You knew right away the kind of the scale of what we're about to get into just from this shot, right? You're like, okay, here we go, and then they take us into the Flash Chance's club's gone. You assume she's gone. They don't really say. They don't mention Max Rebo, so we don't know, but we just know that it went down, and they're kind of surveying it, and they're like, this is bad. We got to figure this out. And then Fennec looks over, and there's Mando. And then, so now we got to figure out what the hell we're going to do. And they ask Mando, they're like, hey, man, did you get those soldiers to help, those foot soldiers? And he's like, yeah, I got them, I think. We'll figure it out. And they start to set up their strategies. And the mods come back, and the mods didn't bother me that much. At this point, I think the look of this guy's suit, it's like, the planet. I know. Let's not. We've been arguing about this the entire season, so we don't have to. At this point, it's like for talking to myself. Just deal with it. They're here to stay, and I don't mind them as characters. They're fine. They're just they need to set up. But what I did mind was this stupid conversation. Boba's like, okay, we gotta get back to the castle. We're protected there. We have a fortress. Let them storm. And I'm thinking we're gonna see like an old school kind of medieval battle here on top. And these morons decide they want to just stick around. No. If you want to go back to your fancy castle, we're going to stand in the middle of the open and see how many of us can get killed. And Boba, who is the best decision maker of all time, goes, Good plan. We're staying. What? Why are you staying? The whole thing's blown up. Go back to the castle. Get back to the castle. And then Bane comes in. We see Bane with the Jawas. He scares the piss out of him. And Bane, who's basically this scene in general was hilarious because he's just like, all right, look, Cobb Vanth, and I kept calling him Karth in the Sith Council. I had Knights of the Republic on the brain, and don't worry, everybody, let me know about it. But he's like, I got Cobb Vanth out of the way. Freetown ain't getting involved, so don't worry about it. And you just see how badass Cad Bane is throughout it, and then they just spill the guts. They spills the tea here. The Pike. He's like, oh yeah, we killed all the. There's no more Tuscan Raiders because we killed them all. Ha ha. Here's our secret. We killed them all. We blamed it on the bikers. So Phil Lamar just starts cracking up about it. And this whole scene, I thought it was a good scene because you had the mayor basically show this was the most. What I will say about this episode is this episode was the most gangster. The thing that we saw in that trailer that everybody was expecting, with the crime bosses and the double crossing and the murder and all that was all in this episode. That's the kind of stuff that in this episode I loved. I loved the conspiring with the mayor and the Pykes and then Bane, and Bane's just kind of the hired gun who's going to do what he's going to do. He's got a personal vendetta against Boba in general, and so all of that I thought worked great. And we get into I think what was the coolest part of the entire, because they start having a plan. And they're going to make their last stand here, right? So before we get into that, then Luke's X-Wing comes in. And I'll be honest with you guys. When it came in, I was like, are they going to rely on Luke again on this one? I don't think I need to see Luke fight, because if Luke comes in, it's over. Game's over. And first of all, why is Luke going to help Boba Fett, crime bosses, and all that? Why are we doing that? I'm like, I hope not. And then also, the second, as we mentioned in the last episode, did anybody think he was staying with Luke? I saw a few people who said, oh, he's going to choose both. It was set up since that episode when they were building out the Naboo cruiser, that, they moved the droid seat out so they could have a little seat. And the second that was set up, you knew Grogu was coming back. And I will say, through all the comments that people were writing last week, he got me on board with it a little bit more, because it makes more sense now. Because if he stays there, does he get murdered by Kylo? Is he one of the ones that gets taken out and lives with the Knights of Ren, and all that gets messy, as opposed to going with Mandalorian, going back to Mandalore, maybe going out to fight Thrawn in the unknown regions. It explains why he's not around during the sequel trilogy, and because he'll be 80 years old or something. He'll still be really young by the time that goes down. So who knows? Maybe they have an older Grogu series when he's talking and stuff by the time he gets back and Rey's gone and all this stuff, and he's the one. He's like, hey, wait, no, I'm the last of the Jedi. Hey, I'm right here. So, but nonetheless, the X-Wing shows up, and I love that R2's. This scene I really dug, and I don't know what it is, man. I definitely had, and I know a lot of people still, and I get it, have a problem with Amy Sedaris. She just kind of fits into this Tatooine. At least her outfits, her outfits to me, the crazy hair and all that, she's still, at this point with the way she's talking, it's just part of it. I didn't mind her. And I love the relationship. She sees Grogu. She's excited to have the kid back, I love the blending of all the movies though, man. You get a droid from the new trilogy, the original trilogy. You get the droids from the prequels, the forms. You get the video game droid in the background. I love what they're doing here with this. The way it just kind of all fits together. And that's what this was. This was just kind of and this is why I think for people, and for those people who say episode 5 and episode 6, they had they relied too much on the Mandalorian, and they relied too much on Grogu. Yeah, but we got this soup by the end of it, and it all blended together because it bounced back and forth with the 4 episodes that we got with Boba. It blended all those 4 episodes. Then it blended the 2 episodes that we got with Grogu and Mandalorian, and it blended it all together. They had said that this is Mandalorian 2.5. Clearly, it was. There was a setup to get us into. By the time we start season 3, he's already back with Mandalorian. That we know at this point. And then with Boba, it's like this little mini series that ultimately went for him on like 5 episodes, and it's fine because I think a lot of people agree. Maybe you don't. to me, Boba was the least interesting character in this entire series. And even more so, and I'll tell you we'll get to it in a little bit, but I'll just say when he was fighting Cad Bane, I was not rooting for Boba. And I don't know, just because I'm a Cad Bane stan, as the kids say these days, but I wasn't rooting for Boba. I just didn't. He's not even the gangster in the story. Fennec is. Fennec's the main gangster, and she proves it throughout the whole entire series, and especially in this episode. She's putting the plan together, telling everybody where to go, and doing all this stuff, and she's and even at the ending, which we'll get to in a second. But anyway, Grogu, he's with Amy Sedaris. Droid's like, "What's up, homie?" He's like, "Nothing. How you doing?" He's like, "Nothing. You want some snakes?" And he ate the snakes, and they gave him some snakes, and he's like, "I don't know if I want to leave. I like these snakes. Delicious." Snakes didn't feel that way. Snakes said, "Get this little green bastard out of here." They just ate my Uncle Lou. So Fennec now starts to go over this plan that we're talking about. And, at this point, I know my fantasy of Fennec shooting Boba in the head and taking over is not going to happen. But she's putting together this whole plan. Then we find out this stupid bikes come in, but who cares at this point? They're flying through, they're surveying the land, and it looks like our heroes got everything under control. They're trying to figure out when the Pykes are going to come in. They're ready for it, so they know. And this is the thing that started to get me, guys. The pigs. The pigs are waiting. The pigs are doing their job. The pigs have been loyal since day one. They're not eating on the job. They're not shitting on the job. They're just hanging out. They're doing their thing. They're just staring, waiting for something to happen. And then we'll talk what happens to the poor pigs later on. So BK is now with the Trandoshians, and he's hanging out this side of it. So that they're scanning. They're saying, "All right, buddy, you just stand there. You take guard. Stand right in the middle where everybody can shoot you. Don't get any cover. Just stand right there, and good luck to you." And then they go back to it, and it's where they go in the overall plan of it, And then they say, "Hey, listen, man, someone's here to see you," and we get our showdown. We get Bane and Boba. And what I loved about this particular scene was the beef, right? And this is where I think I have a gripe, yet it's bizarre because we always wondered when they bring in characters that people who aren't watching the animated series or reading the novels or reading the comics, how confused are they? And I saw a bunch of comments from you guys last week going, I never watched Clone Wars, I never watched Bad Batch, I never watched any of these things. I didn't know who Cad Bane was. He looked cool, but I know nothing about him. So I'm so curious for those people who that was the case, right? How satisfying was he for you? Because he comes and goes within 2 episodes. Disappointing. But the flip side of that is there's this long history with the two of them that this is like the ending. And I would assume that Dave Filoni, I have clips that I put up for a Dave Filoni interview that I did years ago. And he's in control of the characters he creates. So this was a decision that he wanted to make. And I think there was I was going to pull a screenshot from it, but I don't have it. But there was an old episode that was supposed to be canon. I don't know if it's canon, where Boba and Cad Bane actually square off, and Cad Bane shoots him in the head, and that's how he gets the thing in his head. And Boba shoots him as well, and I assume they both survived. But I think that he always wanted to have this showdown between the two of them. They have it in this one. This is the ending. So I think for people it's still, for me, someone who wanted to see Cad Bane in live action for so long, to get him twice, and they pulled it off. I loved the look, by the way. Some people had problems with it. I loved the look. Loved the fact that the voice was back, and I wanted to see him do more. And hopefully he comes back. I don't know. Probably not. It's probably over for the old man. But either way, they square off here for the first time in the series, that is. And he's pushing him. He's pushing him. And I love that both Fennec and Mando are flanking him. And then Cad Bane just rats the Pykes out because he knows what's going to piss him off. And he goes, "Hey, not for nothing, pal, but those banthas, they're the only things that were killed. The Tuscans were killed too. You know who did it? My bosses. Fuckface. So what are you going to do about it? Huh? What you can do? You want to fight? You want to fight?" And he's ready. He's ready to shoot him. It doesn't matter, though, because apparently in this episode, you can shoot our heroes 1,000 times. If you can shoot one of you shoot one of the Pykes or one of the villains in the head, or shoot him or get him in the chest, they're gone. But you can shoot one of our heroes 75 times. They'll be fine. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times the Wookiee gets shot. And so Boba realizes in this particular scene, he's going, "All right, What do I do? And who is the voice of reason? Once again, Fennec. Don't do it. Don't lead with emotion. Use your brain here. Fennec is Boba needs to give the keys to the castle to Fennec from now on. I'm telling you, so I was rooting for Fennec to take over and Boba to get shot in the head. I hate to say it. I always liked Boba a lot, but he was whatever. I mean, he does some cool shit in this one. There's no doubt. He does some cool shit. And we'll get into that. But and then Lionel Richie on the far right shows up with the rest of with dollar store Zac Efron, who's wearing a BB-8 jacket, apparently. You got Felicity Jones riding top. And then our other mods. So, they're ready to rock. And they say, you know who we are? And everybody says, who? We're the worst. All right. But this is when we find out. That there's a coup. And I loved this. I thought this was great. The fact that the Pykes, because the Pykes had to be scary at some point. Because by the time we'd all said it, you got to set it up. Why are the Pykes scary? They don't do anything. Well, they got an allegiance, man. They got allegiance with those creepy bosses who we thought were gonna help out Boba, and even Boba says it. Mandalorian goes, I thought we had a deal. He goes, we did. I thought we did have a deal. We didn't have a deal. That was the gangster side that I was looking for. You got double crossed, and everybody starts getting like shot to pieces, and I'm like, this is awesome. This to me, but this is where they don't take out anybody that we've been attached to or anything. They just Lionel Richie tries to hide in the back, and then this guy says, I don't like any of your songs, and he shoots him. He takes him out. I was upset about that. I like Lionel. But then the pigs, this is where I get angry. Oh, before the pigs. The pigs are watching the train, and a whole bunch of things happen, right? And this is what I'm talking about. The BK is over here. He gets hit in the back with an axe. He's shooting everybody. The Trandoshians are coming after him. They realize he's the only one there. No one else is there. I mean, take somebody with you. Anybody. Take some of the mods with you. Anybody. He's all by himself in the wide open. And then he wonders why he gets hit in the back with an axe. This guy hits him with an axe, just grazes him. Then he starts getting shoot to piss. And then the pigs, we go back to the pigs, and then I got really pissed off here. They throw the pigs off a cliff. The pigs! With the dick building in the back. And this is unbelievable. What a way to die for the pigs. They screech all the way back. The last thing they see is a dick building. That's awful. Poor pigs. I like those pigs. Anyway, the pigs are dead. No more pigs. So they realize they got double crossed, and this is a great thing. And then this putts. Here's the thing though about our boy.
Apologies.
The thing with him in this episode, what I will say, is they've defined his character enough, and what they did that I thought was a good way to say why he talks so modern was he was taught on Coruscant. He in basic and everything, the way that he was negotiate. Okay, all right, maybe there was something you added in there. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was always in there. Fine, okay, because he's more. I know his purpose as a character now. I know his purpose. And his purpose is just to be the kind of, I'm going to survive no matter what. I thought when you first see him in that first episode, you think he's going to be a little bit more maniacal, and you think he's going to be a little bit more of a weasel, and he's going to be a guy that helps, the mayor kind of take over. But he's just, he's just so spineless. He's just a different version of Bib Fortuna, really. And I think even less intimidating than Bib Fortuna. So I still don't understand why Boba wanted to kill Bib Fortuna. Doesn't really make sense, but whatever. But he starts trying to cut deals and make deals and all that stuff, and it happens throughout it. And there's tons of shit that goes down. He continues to go down. The Wookiee is just getting beat to the ass. He's getting shot. And then they jump all over him. They capture him, and then he gets out somehow later on. They don't really explain how he gets past all these Trandoshians. He just shows up. I guess he's got one over his shoulder like a knapsack later. But this stuff was cool, man. I love this stuff when they have the snipers in the tower, and this just shows with these stupid mods. Like, let's stand in the middle in the wide open. Go to the castle. You got the Rancor's in the castle. You don't have to take him out in the middle of the street. He's in the castle. Get everybody in the castle. Set up perimeters around the castle. Jabba's castle. What are you doing here? It's already blown up. It's stupid. But they come back to the burnt club that apparently they want to protect so much, and it all goes down here, man. Like it looks like they're going to start taking people out. I think that one of the mods should have eaten it. I was hoping that one of the mods were going to eat it, not because I don't like them, but more so because it gives a little. They're losing people. They didn't lose anybody. They just lost Lionel Richie and the Pigs, which I'd love to see that album, but nonetheless we can't because they're all dead. So this guy says, "Hey, man, I negotiated in Coruscant. I did my thing. Let me go negotiate." So he's so smart. He's just a very smart dude, but not smart enough to look at the tablet he's about to read the gangsters. He just walks out there thinking he's got it all figured out, which I like the scene. So the scene was good. He realizes that not my words, the weasel thing. And then this is one of the coolest scenes I think in the entire episode. Boba and Mando fighting together. And as I mentioned before, a lot of great stuff in this episode. A lot of really great Star Wars imagery. There's no doubt about it. With the battles throughout the entire episode, whether I think it was a good move or not that they're fighting in the middle of the city, there's some great stuff going on. Whether it's the snipers and the battles, the fact that you see there were stakes. It was the first, as I mentioned. And please don't respond with the fact that I keep saying that Boba never really experienced any loss in this series since he took over as a gangster. Do not respond, but he lost all the Sand People. That was before he took over as a gangster. I was saying since he took over, and in his business sense, he has no loss yet. And he's still, as he's going through this, he got double crossed he tries to make this deal. Every deal, nobody respects Boba. Nobody. We got to deal with you. You ain't gonna honor it. We're going to do this. I ain't going to honor it. We're going to do this. I ain't going to honor it. Nobody honors anything Boba does. I don't know. And even Cad Bane says to him in this episode, what are you doing? What's your end game? Why are you doing this? And I don't think Boba even knows. But the battle happens. They're going at it. And this is a great scene. They're just firing it out. And this stupid face that this guy makes. And then they're flying around shooting everybody. And it's like, okay, here we go. We're back on it. But then there's so many of them, and they even say there's so many of them that Mando starts getting popped. And this is what I meant. I'll take the excuse. I think it's a valid excuse of why Mando and Boba are able to take so many shots because of the Beskar. But they're getting whacked left and right, and it's like, okay, again, following the stupid rules of being in the middle. But then we get the Freetown guys come on in, and the bartender's there, and he's pissed off. And it was a good move because you're like, oh, where's Cobb? And like, oh, wow, is Cobb really gone? And then he tells you Cobb ate it. And you're like, oh, no, Cobb ate it? And then we find out at the very end what really happened to Cobb. But I think that as they're all pinned in again and they're fighting, and now, but even this, is that a Trandoshan? I think it is. Somehow the Wookiee got away. They don't really show how, but he got away. And then he starts getting blasted again. He gets shot in the leg, he gets shot in the foot, he gets shot in the asshole, he gets shot everywhere. And he's fighting like nothing. He does not have armor on where he's getting shot. He's getting shot everywhere. And I can't even tell you how many times he's being helped by other people, and then he's just fighting again. I don't know. The thing with BK, I think he's a fantastic character. I love him very much. I think that a lot of what people were hoping for with this character was that to see the anti-Chewie and to see this, and when he first shows up, you're like, oh no, he's going to be a problem. He just becomes a friend. And that's fine. I mean, I like him. I dig it. I just thought he was going to be kind of a ruthless badass. And nobody really was in this series except Fennec. Fennec, and not including Mando, but Fennec to me is the star of this show. And I love this scene. I love when the super droid Dakars, which kind of reminded me of the battle technology and the stuff that they use, that it's got a very Terminator-esque feel, and they think they're blowing them up, and then they come right back in. It's doing nothing. The force fields go up. This to me, this shot is one of my favorite shots in the entire episode. It seems like I was playing a video game, and Mando trying to shoot this thing, doesn't know what to do. They're running out of they're trying to figure out how the hell do you get out of here, and finally, and this dude, this between that scene and this scene, when they finally, and as much as I say I wish Grogu would have stayed with Luke, I mean, come on. When they hug, come on. I mean, come on. It was incredible. The relationship that they have, I said, all right, you got me. I'm glad they're back together. I still wish he would have stayed with Luke, but I'm glad they're back together. Mando cares, and it wasn't corny. And you knew the Rancor is going to show up to battle these freaking droids, and this was great. This was cool when Boba was another great shot that's straight out of a video game. When Boba, look, and I even kept to reload this page on there because it looks like a video game. And Mando with the saber. I mean, it's hard to argue that the stuff that Robert Rodriguez shot in this episode was fantastic. Some of the imagery. It's just the overall question is, what did you think about the overall loop of and connectivity of the story that was told from episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, right? Because 5 and 6, I mean, majority of 6. I mean, if you're rewatching 6 5 or 6 times like I did, you ain't watching it because you're wondering what's going to happen with the Pykes. You're watching it because you want to see how did they do that with Luke. And the two things that you watch a lot with that is the Luke, the Grogu stuff, the Ahsoka stuff, and the Cad Bane stuff. That's what's set up so wonderfully in there. And that does set up, that's for people who are saying, well, they don't even have Boba and they don't have the story that's happening. That Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth storyline is so relevant to this. But the question is, how does it play overall for you? And if the answer is that, well, some people could say it was just okay. And I get it. Some people could say, loved it because I loved what we saw, the way that they kind of transformed Boba and we got Star Wars TV. I get it. And other people could just be like, it's fine. I get it. But it just depends on what you were looking for. And I know that you guys are bored with me saying how much I love Star Wars television, but it's just the fact that I know that we have this show that ends now and we're in February. And if rumors are right, 3 months before we get Obi-Wan. And everybody's going to be talking about that show. That's one of the most highly anticipated pieces of Star Wars content like ever. So the fact that we just say, well, yeah, but I got a Star Wars show and I got Mando with a darksaber running around fighting super droid cars. And then you get to see Grogu in action a couple times. And I love the fact that he's not overly, because he's been training with Luke. He's got new skills, but he's not a master Jedi. He's good. And then what are we doing with these three? What are we doing? The girl's fine. She just looks like she's wearing a coat. What is going on with this look? What is this? It's terrible. What is this? Look at this guy's face. I mean, will you look at this guy's face? What's going on with his face? What's going on? I mean, I don't know. It's a weird face. I mean, none of the guys. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. Just what are they doing here? I don't get it. I don't know. But Rancor is up there causing stuff, and then these Amy Sedaris and Twi'lek.
Apologies.
It's fine. They join together. And I love the stuff with the Rancor. I love the stuff with the Rancor when he's eating the Pykes and he's tossing them across things. I mean, this is why you can't really complain. Whereas you're like, there was so much Star Wars. That's why I say it was the least Robert Rodriguez-y thing in it. There was the stuff that it was set up beforehand, the Fifth Element Battle Angel stuff with the looks of the mods and all that. It was set up already before, so they were in there. That's just part of it. But there's so much cool. I think that they had said it at one point when they were working on the last one. It's like they're playing with their toys when they were kids, and that's what it felt like. And I loved that. It felt like they were playing with their toys. And if you could have a Boba, I mean, imagine when you were a kid saying Boba Fett's going to ride in on a freaking Rancor and start fighting, Pykes. But then this I don't really understand. Cad comes in and hits him with fire, and then the Rancor just goes away. And then because he's scared of fire. Well, Mando shoots him in the face with fire later. He doesn't run away. So he runs away. Why does he run away? Because we need the standoff between the two of them. And as I said earlier, I was not rooting for Boba Fett here. I was like, this would be a good way for Boba Fett to eat it. He goes out, Fennec takes over. They have to figure it out without Boba. Knew it wasn't going to happen, but I thought that would be great. Standoff that Filoni's been wanting forever. He shoots him. But because he's our hero, he can take 87 shots. He's fine. Rips his helmet off, says, you're done. He closes his eyes and braces for it. Then he uses the stick, comes back, and does what I don't think anybody really wanted. He stabs Cad Bane in the chest. And I don't think this was the desired effect. I think they were hoping that people were going to cheer. I can't imagine many of you, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine many of you were happy that this happened. I think this was, I hated that this happened. They killed Cad Bane within 2 episodes. One of the best bounty hunters of all time. And I know why they did it. It was the final ending to the feud between Boba and Cad Bane. It was for the hardcore. I guess the rationale was, if you're watching this for the first time, here's a guy that he seems like a badass. He's just working for the Pykes, and then he's gone. Because Boba overcomes it. But if you were anticipating him in live action, and then you got this, the counter to that from Filoni or somebody else would be like, yeah, but this is the ending of their story. It is all the stuff that happens throughout Clone Wars and throughout everything else, and it ends here. And we'll probably see him in Bad Batch. And now that you know how his story ends, it's, less is. But now the Rancor's pissed off. He's like, I liked the King Kong kind of stuff that they were doing with him too. By the way, I loved this, and I look at the cities in the background. I'm telling you, so some of the best Star Wars imagery so far. So anybody who says it's underwhelming or didn't like it, or you can't argue that there was some great looking stuff, Star Wars stuff in here. And then for some reason, Amy Sedaris doesn't have teeth, and I think that was probably a choice. Well, she shouldn't have teeth. Why? Because it's funny. Okay, fine. She doesn't have teeth. And then Mando, I love it. It's going to be all right, pal. Don't worry. And he flies off. Mando, just the badass that he is, flies off, tries to ride the thing, and they catch him. He's going to eat him. And Grogu goes, he ain't doing that. Take a nap, pal. I'm exhausted too. Let's sleep. And then they sleep. And it reminds me of like when I'm really tired and I fall asleep and then my dog like lays next to me. And that's what that is. It's adorable. Look at that. You go back. This is the, out of all of the scenes in all of Star Wars, all of Boba Fett so far, pitching this show of it being a gangster show. Here's the scene with the Pykes. They're like, this is not what we signed up for. We're out. The mayor's like, what are you talking about? You got to stick around. We made this deal. And then they just all start getting whacked left and right. Like, and this is brutal. He hangs the mayor, hangs his ass. Done. Okay, stupid. You want to make deals? You can't use your voice modulator now, can you? Can you modulate this? Because you're dead. And then this guy does a funky dance, but the reason he does a funky dance is because he just got knifed in the back. Green blood prick. So Fennec takes him out. Again, Fennec proving the gangster. They're walking through the town. People are giving him fruit. Are we cut out for this? Like, you're telling me you're not cut out for this now, Bobby? You're not used to. This is what you wanted, okay? I just killed I did all the work. You just killed a fan favorite villain. So don't get on my shit list. And then they're all together, and everybody's a good guy. And then there's a droid with a stupid face. And this is, then they set us up for Mandalorian. Grogu wants to go fast. They go fast. They zip out of town. But the main thing is, Robert Rodriguez directed this, obviously. A little post, you may have missed it. There's the back to tank, Cobb Vanth, alive and well. But the Mod Doctor, what's he going to give him? What's he going to do? Now, what's that going to play into? Is that going to play into Mandalorian? Is that going to play into what's that going to play into? But overall, the entire series, what did I think about the series? As I mentioned many times over, I enjoy watching Star Wars television. I enjoy it. I look forward to it as much as I'm never going to be one of these people that just is going, and nothing against people who say this. And I applaud you for it. But people who are just like, oh yeah, I love it. Just take with what you get. Take what you get, and that's what it is. I accept it. I'm never going to do that, and I don't. And I'm happy that people do that, but I'm not going to do that. There's some things that, like I said, I don't understand why they're just standing in the middle of and just getting shot, and how somebody can get shot a million times. But I loved watching Star Wars. I loved watching a Rancor. I loved watching a Darksaber come out. I loved seeing Grogu. I love seeing these moments. I loved being in this. I was in a Star Wars episode for the entire time, and I got 7 episodes of Star Wars TV. So for people who just saw it, oh man, blah 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 blah, just wait for Obi-Wan or just wait for something else. And there are some people who just want to watch Star Wars now and just complain about it. And so no matter what it is, my recommendation is just, there's so much other great television that if you don't want to watch, if you don't find any enjoyment out of it anymore, why you do that to yourself? Honestly, why do you do it to yourself? Just watch something else. And I really enjoyed watching this series overall because it was just it definitely didn't go in the direction that I was hoping Boba Fett would go. I didn't wind up liking Boba Fett any more than I did before. Wound up liking Fennec a lot more. Loved the BK and bringing him in. Mods were fine. Stupid Twilight by the end was fine. The stuff that popped for everybody in episodes 5 and 6 was a continuation of the Mandalorian story. So everybody wants to see Mandalorian season 3. They've done it very well. You're going to be excited now to see the continuation of that story. It works very well. Luke and Ahsoka, will they join up? There's stuff that they set up in this. I mean, maybe they could have just called this the Star Wars show, and not called it Boba Fett. Focused on Boba Fett for like the same amount of episodes, and that people would have been like, "Well, why is there's so much Boba Fett in this?" Fine, then, and maybe even calling it the Star Wars show with the Book of Boba Fett being the title of the episodes. Chapter 1 through chapter 4 is the Book of Boba Fett. But they didn't. They called it the Book of Boba Fett. Who cares? You got it. Watch it how you do. Enjoy it how you do. But I hope you enjoyed these reviews. Definitely going to be doing these for Obi-Wan. A reminder that I'm doing that Peacemaker episode 7 review, recording it hopefully today with Freddie Stroma, going to put who plays Vigilante, and that will be up hopefully on the channel by Thursday, unless there's a cancellation. Not of the show, of the interview. And then there's the Obi-Wan stuff. I got Sith Council coming out tonight, so don't forget about that. Big Thing rewatches. We got Batman rewatches. I finally watched The Thing. That review is coming out on this channel, but the rewatch itself that I did with Dorina is on the SEN Patreon. You can join today. So I hope you guys enjoyed these reviews. I enjoyed doing them. It was a lot of fun. Keep commenting. I am so backed up on comments. I've been commenting to everybody. There's just so many of them, which is a great thing. So keep on commenting. I go through them. I would do everything that I'm trying to do. We have the SCHMOEDOWN coming up too, new season, so we're working on that. So anyway, very excited to have done this with you guys, and thank you for all the positive and kind words that you've been saying. I really am humbled that you have been enjoying this ride with me, and I love having conversations with you. So let's continue that. And once again, please show a little class. Just subscribe. I will tell you that my favorite comment I ever got was a guy who was really mad that I told people to show some class, and he said, what did he say? He said, "How dare you tell people to show some class? Go fuck yourself," or something. I was like, that is hilarious. That was funny. It's a joke, guy. It's a joke. But do me a favor. Show a little class, will you? All right, guys. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. Do everything you got to do. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. And for those people who didn't,
apologies. Apologies.
See you next time.